Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing as always about Bitcoin and crypto. We're going to understand where Bitcoin could be going next and also going to give you a little bit of an overall opinion about technicals in regards to the stock market as well, macroeconomics, and we can draw a conclusion to see where we could be going next. Of course, before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We post one video every single day. But let's cut the chase now. Let's talk about Bitcoin. I'm going to go straight away into my weekly chart just to understand where we are, what could be happening, where are we heading, and so on. At the moment, guys, I know there is lots of fear in the markets that Bitcoin could be going down to 40,000, 30,000. There are so many people to try to scare you that the bull market is over. We're going to see a big movement to the downside. But the funny thing is, whenever you're going to open the macro charts, you can see that in reality, we're not really having any substantial correction or dip. I mean, Bitcoin pumped for exactly 5 months straight and then had a little bit of a retracement. So if this, guys, was a proper dip or a reversal, you should see more continuation to the downside. I'm not saying that a reversal could not happen and the bull market is over, but what I'm saying is right now it's too early to say that the bull market is already over. But from a technical point of view, we can notice that straight away, the first thing I can see is Bitcoin going down this area, which was the previous all-time high of the body of the candle. It touched this line over here and it bounced back again. So looks like it wanted just to take some liquidity, go up again, and then of course we need to understand the next movement. Of course, if you have bought Bitcoin at 60,000, 64,000, 70,000, then of course I will be concerned because you pretty much bought at the top of the trend. The right time would have been like we did in our VIP community. We bought at roughly $17,000 Bitcoin, and therefore we are not concerned at all. Even if you're going to have a retracement down to 40,000, it's okay, because from a macro point of view, we are still in a bull market. We can still go higher, and the retracement could be good also to load up our bags. I'm going to go now on the weekly chart to show you more, technically speaking, what's happening right now. Well, from a weekly point of view, guys, we are still pretty much oversold. So oversold, you can see this pattern over here. This is called the RSI, Relative Strength Index. It looks like whenever you are above 70, usually signifies the market is overbought and a more downside could be coming. So there is definitely a possibility that we could see more downside to come and maybe go down as low as 57,000, 50,000. But again, we cannot say with certainty, like so many other Moonboys YouTubers, that they usually predict Bitcoin to go to 10,000 when it dips a bit, or they predict to go to 600,000 whenever it pumps 1%. We don't have enough data to predict that it's going to go either to here to here. But right now, this looks good. Looks good for a movement, a macro movement, which could go from here to here, or even from here to here. But again, as you can see, the overall trend is higher. That's what you can see from this point of view. I'm going to now go on the daily chart so we can see more intraday for the next 1 to 2 weeks, what's happening over here. Bitcoin is still, as we said before, we're still into this interesting bull flag, potential bull flag that still hasn't broken. We can see, we've got this two levels of support and resistance, like these two ranges, which is going right now. And we said a few weeks ago that we would have had a potential rejection down to here, down to the 67,500. We touched 67,200, and then we got rejected. And right now, Bitcoin is trying to go back to this three lines over here, which is the exponential moving average, and is failing to do so. So unless Bitcoin doesn't go back above this line over here, which is $66,000, then I'm afraid that what we could see could be more continuation to the downside. So in the worst case scenario, what I could think right now will be something like Bitcoin to do this, a bit of a retracement up to maybe 65,000, touch this line over here, get rejected, and then continue to go down to maybe this line over here, this exponential moving average, down to $59,000, only if we are not going to be able to close in the next few days above this line over here. Just bear in mind today, guys, there's a very important event coming, which is the PCE in the United States. PCE is the Consumer Price Index and measures the price of products, which can be a very important indicator to understanding inflation is on the rise or is cooling down. So a higher PCE means that we are going to see that inflation is ramping up, the Fed will not cut rates, and the market is not going to take it very, very nicely. So the stock market and crypto could actually go down. Otherwise, if it's going to come in line with expectation or below expectation, it means inflation is cooling off. There is a possibility the Fed is going to cut rates in the next few months, and then the market should react very, very well. So to give you a bullish and bearish scenario for this situation right now here, my bullish scenario will be that the PCE is going to come lower than expected or above in line with expectation. We're going to see this line here. We might see maybe one more continuation down to maybe again 63,000, and then we're gonna see a break of this side over here, and then a continuation up to in between 69,000 and 70,000 at the very top of this range of this channel over here. But if you're gonna see the PC coming below expectation, then what I'm gonna see would be maybe 65,200, 66,000 max, and then a continuation to the downside and retest this level over here. And then, of course, we need to see, once we're going to get to these extremes, what's going to be happening afterwards. Let's probably see also from the more intraday 4-hour chart what I think is going to be happening. Right now, the situation is that Bitcoin is still touching these lines over here and is getting rejected. So in order to become bullish again, as I said before, what we need to do will be to break this diagonal level of resistance. Once we're going to be able to break here, okay, then there is a possibility for us to climb back up and potentially touch this level over here. So $70,000, that could be a important. Sorry, I made a mistake with this one over here, but it could be like 68,000, 69,000. That could be definitely a possibility. So I guess what we need to see will be to assess right now the evolution of today, if the stock market as well is going to pump, which I'm going to show you in a second. But right now looks like that it just keep getting pushed down this way. However, there is something as well which I want to show you, which is important, is that Bitcoin from a technical point of view right now is forming what we call an inverted head and shoulder. So this is a very important pattern, so you can write this one down. You can see that in general, whenever you have this, this is shoulder, head, shoulder, whenever you have this pattern over here, if you're going to be able to break the neckline in this area, then there is a high chance that what we could be seeing will be a continuation at least up to 67,300 from here. So only if you're going to be able to climb back up around this area and then touch this level over here. So that could be a possibility that could be happening intraday, maybe big push to 65, 66,000. And then if we are going to be unable to break this level of resistance, then we're going to go down again, maybe retest this area here and then try again. Or if it's going to be able to break it, then 67,000 or even as high as 69,000 could be definitely on the cards. So something we can also help each other from a macro point of view to see what can be happening with crypto and with stocks for I would say for the next 6 months or 7 months, is to have a look at this chart over here, which is quite interesting. So it is very important to see what's going to be happening in the next 4 or 5 days. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's going to be the end of the month. And this candle you can see over here of the S&P 500, I'm going to just put a rectangle over here so you can see well. This candle is closing like this. This blue candle, as you can see, is closing, covering this yellow candle over here. So this is called bearish engulfing candle. So if this candle is going to close this way, in general, signifies a reversal in trend. I can show you from here. So I could go back in the days, had a bad candle after, over here, bad candle after. We had another example over here, bad candle. So if this candle is going to close like that, one person might imply that more downside is going to be on the cards, and potentially the S&P 500 is going to go and retest this area at $4,800. Is that going to be a problem? Well, not really, because again, the S&P 500 pumped like there is no tomorrow, and it's quite normal. It's quite healthy for the S&P to have a correction before our next leg up. But again, even the Fibonacci retracement shows us that even the EMA, it will be okay for the S&P to correct to $4,800 before the next move up. And also it goes in line. I'm going to show you from here with this chart over here called this indicator called the RSI. You can see that the RSI here is starting from 2018. Some people believe that we are still in a cycle from 2018. And from a macro point of view, this RSI has been touching exactly this point over here, this point over here. Then we had this break to the downside, this bear market, and then finally we're able to break this line over here. And right now, guys, right now, if you see that we're going to have a correction down to this area around 4,700, 4,800. What I could be expecting would be a retest of this RSI from here. So I'm going to go and draw for you a retest from this area over here, which will be in line with the retest of 4,700-ish. And then what I could be expecting with the S&P 500 will be one last push to the upside, which could take us to this target over here. So we got this one, we got this one, and then we got this one over here. So by roughly November or December, I could be expecting one final parabolic blow off top of the S&P 500, and the target is going to be roughly $6,000 for the S&P 500, which is going to correspond to this RSI moving over here. It will go back to the 70, and over both area of the RSI is going to be in convergence with all these points over here. So 1 point over here, 1 point over here, 1 point over here, and then from that, I could be expecting the typical bear market. So if this is going to happen, guys, if the S&P 500 is going to correct down to 4,700, 4,800, and then is going to have this major blow off top, crypto could also follow the same pathway. And what I mean is, if it's going to go down to 4,800, you could see Bitcoin going down to maybe 56,000, 57,000. But then if we're going to have this last parabolic blow off top, crypto should follow, and Bitcoin should go in between, as per my prediction, in between 95 to 115, $120,000 for one Bitcoin. The last thing I want to show you today, guys, from a macro point of view, it's the DXY, Dollar Currency Index. Sorry for the mess right now. I'm going to just cancel it over here. DXY is into a very interesting scenario right now. Looks almost is forming a double bottom over here. That is the case. You could go back to these levels over here. But let's go more into this chart over here to see a little bit better what could be happening with the DXY. Very similar to what we saw before we were talking about, the stock market and crypto. What I can be expecting right now from the DXY will be this sort of movement over here. You can see that we have these very important levels of support and resistance. So you can see that whenever the DXY is moving downwards, usually the stock market and the crypto market moves in the opposite way. So a lower DXY corresponds to a higher stock market and crypto. By a higher DXY corresponds to a lower price in Bitcoin and, for example, stocks. You can see in 2022, we had this big spike to the upside, and we had a bear market. Right now, looks like it's on the downtrend. It's trying to climb back up again. So in case, guys, that's my prediction, not financial advice, but in case we're going to say something like that, we're going to see a correction with the S&P 500 to 4,700, Bitcoin to 56,000. I could be expecting the DXY to continue to go as high as 108, 110, around this area. But then that could correspond to a sort of an ABCD pattern. ABCD patterns are very common in trading, and you can see that we have 1A, then we have 1B, and then final C down to here. That's what I'm expecting right now. We can also utilize a mathematical sequence called the Fibonacci retracement and see what's going on over here. And as you can see from here, the Fibonacci retracement is saying, right, it's a very, very good indicator. It can tell us how low we could go to. And in general, whenever you see a Fibonacci retracement, a price can be in the same trend even if it retraces up to 61.8%. So what I'm expecting right now would be that DXY has stopped over here, went down, is going to retrace up to roughly 108, and then from there, one last movement to the downside. And that could correspond to Bitcoin going here to $56,000, and then with this last crash of the DXY, maybe when the Fed is going to cut interest rates, that could be a reason why. We're going to see Bitcoin and the S&P 500 going to a blow-off top, going past $100,000, and that could be what I can expect. And then, of course, after the bear market, if we're going to see a bear market starting very soon, we're going to see another movement from the DXY, which could be, again, if you're going to have a stock market crash or a crypto crash, which I think is going to be happening, but the next level could be as high as maybe as 120 by May 2025. Guys, I really hope this was helpful for you to understand what I think about all of this situation about stocks and crypto from a macro point of view. I'm not as bullish as so many people to think that Bitcoin is going to go to $200,000, $300,000, $2 million, but I'm more conservative. But I really hope that you understood about all of this correlation between the stock market, the DXY, and Bitcoin, for you to just understand what could be happening in the next few months. I really hope it was helpful, and thank you so much for if you listen to all of this. And of course, I'm gonna see you tomorrow for a next video, which I'm gonna talk about Bitcoin analysis, but also I'm gonna reveal a few altcoins which they could do very well in the next few months. Take care, and I'm gonna see you soon.